Hey guys, first just want to thank you again for coming to check out my site. This is my first blog post here, and today I just want to talk about my experience with depression and sort of what I've done in my life to start to overcome the challenges that I've faced. So anyway, I just want to start it off by saying, addressing this misconception I think there is about depression in our society, and that's the fact that I think a lot of people see it as maybe people are just sad all the time, and while it is like a form of sadness, it isn't exactly the same thing that you would think about if something happens in your life and you feel down about it, whatever, and it's more of a feeling of emptiness, essentially. And I think that's a big misconception that people have. When people say they're depressed about something that happened in their life, this is not the same thing as having depression. So essentially, for me, I know, just sort of thinking back towards my younger years in my middle school and high school years, I sort of experienced ups and downs, and looking back now, I certainly can see that I had experienced depression during those years, but it wasn't until sort of later in my life in college, and especially in the past few years, that I've really begun to understand it better and actually take action towards it. And I think this is a result of, number one, just I think there isn't nearly enough education about it when we're young. I didn't really know much about depression until I started doing research on my own in the past few years to really understand what it is that's going on. And I think that's a big problem that we need to change. Number one is just to educate people earlier on so that they can seek out help from their parents or their counselors at school or whatever it may be. And because like I said, I had no education about it whatsoever, and it wasn't really until my freshman year of college that I started to analyze it more and really understand that maybe this is something that I've struggled with in my life. So just sort of thinking back to that time, I remember a lot of days back in my freshman year after I would go to classes or whatever, and I would just come back from classes and want to lay in my bed all day. Didn't really have much motivation to go push myself and meet new people or try new activities, new clubs or whatever. And anytime that I did, I was never fully present and able to really take advantage of it. I was maybe there, but I wasn't really there mentally. So I just remember, and I think it was definitely a result of also a new circumstance, living on your own, living with new people that you don't know anything about, and trying to just start from scratch, making new friends and all that. And so I think it really started to amplify that feeling. But even then, I still didn't have enough education about what it was, and I didn't really want to admit to myself, or to anyone else for that matter, that maybe that was something that I was experiencing. And so it really wasn't until my senior year that I finally decided to take action for it. So after my freshman year, it was the summer going into my sophomore year, my parents got separated and I broke up with my girlfriend, and all these things were happening in my life that really started to add on to whatever I was feeling already. And so I went abroad my second semester during my sophomore year, trying to just try something new and really push myself out. And that really did help during the time that I was away. I felt like a different person while I was there. And, it really was a good thing for me to get out of my comfort zone and really test my limits, just socially and in life in general. But so then when I came back, I went back to South Carolina. I went to school at USC, and my first semester back there, it just was nothing compared. It was right back to the way I was feeling before. And so I decided to take a semester off. And during that semester, I just really started to understand myself better. I was at home and I understood more about what I was feeling, and I started to accept the fact that maybe this is something I should do something about and try to figure out ways to overcome it. And so when I eventually went back to school, I had 3 semesters left, so I went back, and actually on the way down there, I got in a car accident and had a concussion. So that really just, again, added on top of what I was feeling. And so when I went back, I actually started on Lexapro to try to, really address this problem that I had. And it was really something that, like I said, I didn't want to acknowledge for a long time or admit to myself that it was a part of me. But I decided to do it. And so for the first couple of weeks while I was on it, I started to feel better. I actually did. About 2 weeks in, I remember I was just thinking, wow, this is really different. I feel more motivated. I feel more interested in things in life. And so it was really good for me. And then I started to get some side effects from it. So I decided that I needed to get off it. It was just too much for me. And after a few weeks off of it, I started to feel symptoms coming back, and everything just kind of went back to the way it was. And so then I was like, well, what else can I do, So from that point, I decided to try and figure out some lifestyle changes that I could make to address this. And, sometimes I felt a little bit better, and it would get a little bit better at times, but it still wasn't what I was looking for. And I remember actually during that summer, I did an internship in Charleston, and that was the time that it really just, again, kicked in more. I could feel more myself falling deeper into that hole. And, I was in a new city I really started from scratch, didn't know anyone there. And I could tell it affected my performance in my internship. I wasn't very focused most days that I went in, and I knew that I was capable of doing better work than I did. But anyway, so at the end of that summer, I went back to school for my last semester, and that's when I started on Prozac. And so that was about a year ago from pretty much today, right around this time last year. So it's been close to a year now that I've been on Prozac, and I can say 100% that it has changed my life dramatically. So I don't know if you're someone who maybe is unsure about trying medication. I would encourage you. I want you to think hard about it for sure, because it's like I said, when I started on Lexapro, I had all these side effects and everything. But I would definitely recommend, giving it a try at least, and just be very conscious of the way that you're feeling and notice how it's affecting you for sure. But so ever since that I've been on that, I've definitely been feeling much improvement. But in addition to that, I also had started to make more lifestyle changes for myself. And so this was included, I went to the gym pretty much every day. I got it really committed myself to exercising, which was a big thing, and then getting a good amount of sleep every night. I really started to recognize the way that I felt if I wasn't getting 8 hours of sleep, or at least like 7-8 hours, then my whole day would be thrown off. And that's the thing with depression, is it's fleeting, so it can come and go very quickly, and one day you might feel good, one day you might wake up just feeling no motivation whatsoever, and so I still have days like that, and that's sort of what I accepted. While depression will always be a part of me, and it will always be something that I might have to deal with here and there is certainly a path towards improving it, and that's what I want to encourage you guys to try and figure out is, what can you do for yourself to improve. And so like I said, for me, it was a combination of getting more sleep, more exercise, and the medication as well helped me, and just really trying to come to terms with myself and accept myself for who I was. That was a big problem that I had, and it was not, I think it was kind of a result of my depression, but also it would just perpetuate my depression as well and make it worse. So I think that's something to keep in mind as well. But yeah, guys, so that's pretty much my story. And but I can definitely say that right now where I am this is the best that I think I've ever felt in my entire life. And I can definitely attribute it to just trying to progress in every way that I can. Take it one day at a time. It's not going to fix itself overnight. It's a process for sure, but there is a path towards getting better. And I want you guys to comment and let me know if any of this resonated with you. What sort of things do you relate to in your life, and the things that you experience, the way that you experience depression, because that's the thing, is like everyone experiences it differently. It's not going to be the same for one person or the other. Some people have more severe versions of it. But yeah, let me know. This is kind of what I'm looking for with the blog, is I want everyone to just be very open-minded and just be able to come and talk about whatever it is and tell their story. So if you guys are willing to maybe post a video or just type an article or something about it, please send those to me. Like, as I've said earlier, I want to get as many unique perspectives and stories on here as possible. So thanks for watching, guys, and let me know if this helped you at all. So thanks.